Welcome to the Create Invent podcast live stream extravaganza with me, Pat Regan, and my lovely co-host Jeremy Cook over here. How are you doing, Jeremy?
That's right. Yeah, I am Jeremy Cook, and I am here. So, I guess, yeah, I'm doing pretty well. What about yourself?
I'm doing all right.
Or
I
did
think.
you just say that?
I feel like I'm doing all right.
Good. Well,
I rotated
before we
my
get into
office
things,
a little bit here. I don't know if everybody's going to notice that, but I'm about 20 degrees turned.
Yeah.
I hope
Well, I
that's
see.
okay.
We don't see the Butter What logo anymore, which I'd like to ask you about.
I see it
pretty soon.
It's over. It's
okay.
You just can't see it because it's being recorded, and it's going out to Twitter. Twitter?
All right.
YouTube.
Maybe YouTube.
YouTube.
Okay. But before we get into that, why don't we go ahead and take our coffee break early today? We'll give a shout out to our Patreons, our top 5 Patreons, so we say. But
I say patrons,
really.
Jeremy. I thought Patreons.
Oh yeah,
I thought that was your shtick. I thought you did that on purpose.
No, that's a good point, Pat. Because one of our loyal listeners, who I won't mention that person's name, that person said that I needed to say patron, not Patreon, because people are patrons, not Patreons. So thank you for that for that input, and we will take that under advisement, as they say, I guess.
I'm okay with that.
Anyway, let's go ahead and thank our top 5 patrons.
Uh-oh. I was laughing at what he was about to say there, and Jeremy has stopped moving.
Uh-oh.
Oh, and he stopped moving on YouTube, too. That's not good.
I can see you. Can you hear me, Pat?
I'm going to have to keep you guys occupied while Jeremy's gone. He is doing...
I can hear you.
I can't even do what he's doing. I can't even imitate him because they're patronizing us, and it's very much appreciated. Yeah, he's frozen over you. He's frozen. Oh, here he comes again. He's coming back.
All right, I am back.
Are you
right,
really
Pat?
back? I see you.
I hope so.
I hear you.
All right.
too.
Well, I closed everything out, so hopefully. All right. Can we assume we're good to go for now?
I'm going to assume. I've been assuming we're good every time. So.
All right. Well, let's see. Maybe pause my upload. Is that
Yep, I've been doing that every time you come back.
All right. So anyway, let's give our shout out to our top 5 patrons. Our top 5 patrons. That is, first of all, Carl, Michael Sizer, Raptor, creatively spelled, Stuart Morrow, Brian Moses, and Positive Waves, which is roughly 5, plus or minus 5. It's 5, I'd say.
I counted 5,
Pat?
but I'm afraid I missed one. I had trouble with my fingers working. I got a little confused.
Yeah, no, I understand. So what's our first order of business today, Pat?
Are we going in order of the document, or am I picking something? Or I throwing a dart at the dartboard?
Well, I think. Well, let me ask you this first of all.
Sure.
We talked about the Butterwhat logo. I don't see it. Apparently, it's in the recording. But what's going on with that? Because you guys haven't been recording that podcast recently, have you?
Well, we haven't. We kind of took a little break. We were going to switch from 4 episodes a month to 1 better episode a month. And then, we did that right around Thanksgiving or Christmas or something. And then Brian decided he needed to get shoulder surgery. So we didn't record, during that. And we're probably ready to start recording again.
Does he have like a robot arm now or something?
No, it's just a regular arm. They cut a tendon or a muscle or something up in the the part that lets you do this?
Yeah, I guess.
He told the doctor, he said, when I do this, it hurts.
Okay, and you're rotating your shoulder.
Yeah, and the doctor said,
so
don't do that. But then he cut him open anyway. So.
All right, so you guys are taking a medical leave of absence, I guess.
Oh, I like that.
Coming toward the end of that.
Yeah, but I'll bet we'll be recording one. I'm going to say this month, but when I say this month, I mean in the next 4 weeks. I don't even know.
Yeah,
we're probably in the middle of the month by now.
Yeah, it's actually March 16th according to my calendar
We're in the second half.
Computer. Second half of the month, technically.
I heard we changed our clocks last weekend.
Yeah, That's brutal. It's I really don't like it.
Do you
I guess
really
it
not?
doesn't really
What is it?
affect you.
I'm tired.
Well,
I'm ready
because
for
then,
my
you know.
nap tonight already. I was.
So are you, speaking of that, are you on a traditional sleep schedule, or are you on a
I'm not that far off, I
basis
guess,
these
because
days?
I'm going to go to sleep right when we hang up tonight, is my guess.
Okay.
In a, like,
And we're recording this. It's 8:22 Eastern time, and where you are, it's I guess 7:22.
7:22, precisely, it says over here.
So you're kind of like on a little child schedule now.
Yeah. Yeah, essentially. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, when I was a
you might
kid, I
ask
would
your-
watch Buck Rogers at about this time of day. Like when I was 5 or so, and then I would have to go to bed.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's
And I know
That's
I know for
good.
sure that was Buck Rogers.
okay. Yeah, I don't remember that one.
Oh,
but,
you shouldn't.
know,
It was really bad. It was not good TV at all. But I didn't care.
was it calling back to another episode? Do you think Buck Rogers was better than Zardoz, or do you think that Zardoz was a
Do you know, I have the
better?
trouble. I still haven't seen Zardoz, so I don't know for sure.
Oh, okay.
It's got to be lower budget though, right? Because I mean,
Oh,
Sean
you would think
Connery
so,
was
'cause you
famous
gotta-
and not on TV.
Yeah, he was. He was, and then he did quite a few questionable movies, but we've talked about that before.
We really did. I was
What-
going to
what about-
mention something we already mentioned, so I'm not going to mention it again.
Yeah, we'll leave that. We'll leave that to the archives, I guess. Is that?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
have
so you
archives. We've
Yeah,
got
we do.
78
We can,
episodes in the back catalog waiting for everybody to watch.
Do we?
I don't think it's 78, but it's getting close.
It is close to that. I think it's that's because I think last one with retro built
Yes.
games, that was number 64, and I remember that because I was thinking, oh, like Nintendo 64, that's really appropriate
really is.
for him. But that's just a coincidence. So, but yeah, it might be 72 actually, since we split up some of the episodes.
Yeah, it depends on how you count them. You could cheat
Yeah.
and count some of the multi-part ones as multiple.
Yeah,
But
for
60
sure.
some
So,
interviews, right? We could say.
yeah, interviews, if we count interviews with each other, I guess.
Why not? Why not?
Yeah, why not? Why not? Well, Pat, we speaking of that, we talked about, how many names there are for Patrick. Packy,
Oh yeah.
Pat, whatever. Does anybody ever call you Rick?
Never.
Is that
Never.
is that a
That's
thing?
never happened. As far as I know, that's illegal.
Is that so? That's not conceivable.
I
You can't
don't.
call
I don't
Patrick
think it is.
Rick.
I don't think it is. I think only if
Okay.
you're Richard are you allowed to be called Rick.
Okay.
But I don't know.
Unless you're named
Yeah.
Rick.
Yeah, if you're named
There might
Rick,
be
well,
a
that's
guy.
fine too. That's been more popular now. I mean, I don't know now. I don't know when it started being more popular, but things that used to be nicknames are now actual proper given names for folks.
Oh, that's interesting. That makes sense, I guess. Well, anyway,
I hear you've been selling a lot of Easy Fans, Jeremy.
so I have these little boards. They're quite simple, really. They're pretty much just a transistor, flyback diode, and a resistor. So you can hook these up to a Raspberry Pi, and it makes it easy to start a fan up with it. And this was a great thing because the Raspberry Pi 4s were getting so hot, and I guess people wanted them, and it's just been a nice little product, and I say that figuratively and literally because they can fit on the tip of your finger, and I think that's probably what makes them somewhat popular because they're pretty much you can just put them in line with the I/O plus power and ground, and they do a good job. I've sold quite a
We
few.
could jam them in the case with the Pi. Probably they probably fit in there.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I've been selling quite a few, and I actually got a new ordered another 200 of them from my my supplier, and that's always a little bit nerve wracking because you got to put out the money for it. It's like, well, maybe sales are going to dry up right when I get this order, but so far I've gotten you know, orders have continued, and that's been a good thing. I mean, not like they've been increasing or decreasing, but I will say though, kind of to what you alluded to, toward the beginning of the year, it did seem like there was a bit of an increase, which I just wonder if that indicates that maybe Raspberry Pis, like the single port computers, are actually becoming available. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, I do. I've been curious. I pay attention to a lot of us on YouTube and our blogs and stuff make a little bit of money off of affiliate links in our articles and whatnot. And I've been curious about the folks where a lot of channels on YouTube are still pushing the Raspberry Pi stuff really hard. Even when the Pis that I paid, $30 or $40 for 2 years ago are now on Amazon for $100, $120, $130. Like, I've been wondering, are they still making a lot of affiliate sales on the Pi accessories? Or...
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I don't know. I mean, it's. I guess the interesting thing is, even when like this, there was almost no sales of Raspberry Pis. I mean, I guess not no, but anyway, I still got a decent amount of business because I guess it was just out there. You know what I mean?
People still own Pis.
So,
but what I've been wondering about is the cheapskate like me that pays $35 for a Pi and I'm excited to use it. I don't want to pay, I don't know how many dollars for an Easy Fan or a $20 for a case but the guy who pays $140 for a Pi, he's not going to mind as much paying a few bucks for an Easy Fan. So I wonder if you sell more accessories when the Pis are expensive.
That's an interesting question because, yeah, that could be. I hadn't really thought about that, but yeah, my Easy Fan, which sells for more than a Raspberry Pi Zero, I mean, you could put that on.
Raspberry Pi Zeros are like $30 now, Jeremy.
Oh well.
Then what? They used to be at Micro Center
$5
when they were $5. I remember. I miss those days.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I guess you think about that if everything's gotten more expensive, then the Easy Fan 2 looks less expensive. But at the same time, then you think, well, is my labor for putting this in the, it's like, well, am I actually getting paid less too? Which I guess is true, but that's a whole, economic argument that we don't really.
No.
Perhaps we don't get into.
You don't want to get too complicated, but. You're talking about the labor of putting the Easy Fan into my Pi, though, in part of that. Am I understanding that right?
Well, no. I mean, I've got to package it up. I got to whatever, which I guess isn't that hard. But I did go through a decent amount of labor to actually design this and stuff. And now it'd be a lot easier for me because I've designed a lot more circuit boards. But that was actually one of my first boards that I made, and at the time it was a bit of a challenge for sure. Yeah.
Do you feel like you've recouped your payment for the time that you spent in the design phase and the initial orders and getting everything worked out, and now it's just kind of...
Yeah, exactly. It's I do feel like at this point it's kind of on autopilot now. Whether or not that continues or whatever, that's questionable. I mean,
so now obviously it's easy money compared to the first few sales. I don't want to.
Yes, compared to the first few sales, it definitely is easy money. In fact, at first I had these as a surface mount or a through-hole mount component, and even after that, I was doing like all the soldering myself, and that was more like an hard fan money, I guess. If that doesn't even really work. But anyway, it's been a nice learning experience as far as like
the
how to do
Raspberry
business
Pi
and stuff.
Deities did not like whatever he was saying about the hard fan money.
I'm not.
I have an Easy Fan board over here somewhere. Are you back yet, Jeremy? Or we're in trouble.
All right, am I back?
You are back and in higher resolution.
Good. Well, sorry about that. I don't know what's up with my internet. It's been frustrating for sure. But Well, one thing I've been thinking about with the Easy Fan, though, I could, in theory, you could use these on an Arduino, you could use these on an RP2040, you could use it on anything like that, and that's something I haven't like really promoted or made a video on, and I really need to do that. It's been something I've been kind of
it's more important
procrastinating on
than just making people aware that it could be used for these things. If you get Arduino and ESP32 and things into the search terms, people searching for things besides Raspberry Pis will be making it to your Tindie page for sales.
That's a good point. Yeah, hadn't thought about that. But yeah. There's, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a very simple thing. You could do it yourself, and I think even the video I have shows you how to do it yourself, how to make a, with a 2N2222 transistor. But it's just kind of the convenience factor that some people just want something they can plug and play, which is fine with me, obviously. So, yeah. So that's my experience these days.
Well, I'm glad you're doing a good job at the Easy Fan 2s. Is it 2? It's 2, right? Correct?
Yeah, it's Easy Fan 2. So the first one was the through-hole component. I guess I could have just called it the Easy Fan, but Easy Fan 2 has a nice ring.
The folks at the PCB manufacturer, they're soldering the parts on for you now?
Yes, they do. So that was another challenge, is trying to get everything. So that was a huge challenge to begin with, making sure I could solder everything correctly, they could get the components, etc. And it's just been one learning step after another, but it's been it's been a good thing. I think I have recouped my money, but I would say if I was designing it today, I will recoup it much much faster, because I could design it much faster.
Your hourly rate when you are bad at something is a lot lower than your hourly rate when you're good at something. I don't pay the guy $100 an hour to learn how to. I don't have a specific idea in mind, but you probably get the gist of that. There's a.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I guess the thing that's maybe challenging for me is that, what I do for a living is kind of like tech journalism about like making things, whatever. So I am always learning. That's like my job is to learn and write about it. And so if, hopefully I can price that in, but it's kind of like, it's kind of hard sometimes. And, I guess one thing about this is, with a project like this, like I wrote about it for embedded computing, I believe, which, actually I get some traffic out there, which is awesome.
Good.
And, and, actually kind of, it's funny, maybe to segue into this or whatever, I've been doing like an instructional video series for them on the Raspberry Pi. But to begin with, it was going to be the Raspberry Pi, like the single board computer, but it kind of got shifted into the RP2040 just because the Raspberry Pi single board computer is not available. Yep. And that's something I wasn't necessarily comfortable with to begin with, but now that I feel like I kind of got shoehorned into it, but now that I am, it's like, oh, this is actually pretty awesome. So
yeah, that's great.
I don't know. Yeah, it is great. It works out nicely. And, basically for all these classes, I'm having to learn how to do certain things. And, like at first I was getting, just the time I was having to put into it to do an instructional class was very high. But, as you do more and learn more about it, it becomes a little bit more reasonable time-wise, which I guess that's the case with everything. And, the good thing is they renewed us for another series of episodes.
You're picked up for season 2.
Yeah, that's exactly
exciting. You didn't get canceled.
I didn't get canceled, not yet. Although the first episode of that season, I had some internet problems, kind of like we had today, and that was a bit nerve-wracking. But I think it's going to be forgiven. So
good.
Or I think they moved past this. Hopefully.
And are these live classes where there are? I was going to say children, but because that's what I think of when I think of classes. But there's participants interacting with.
Yeah, there's there are live classes. I guess the thing that was a little bit difficult about the last episode was, I supposed to do it for a certain amount of time. I think it's like nominally an hour, but you're allowed to end it a little bit early. But you have a certain amount of time built in, and then I had that glitch, so I'm reconnecting. I'm a little bit frazzled, to be honest, but I felt like I held it together pretty well. But I get down, I'm like, okay, people are gonna have questions because they usually do, and nobody had any questions. So
that's either good or bad. That means you either did a really good job or nobody was paying attention.
Yeah, well, hopefully it means I did a good job. But I was hoping for some, something I could babble on about.
Yeah,
no, I shouldn't say babble on about, but something I could answer. And the good thing is I had some kind of subjects that I thought I could kind of use as filler, if that was the case, and it was. But it was just I was just having to fill in more than I was anticipating, because usually I get some questions.
Yeah.
And that time I didn't.
Well, it's got to be different not being in person. I've never taught any seriously important classes, but I've taught a few classes at our makerspace, and in person, you get to see everybody's faces and see what people get excited about or not excited about, or what they look confused about. It's got to be a lot different here on the internet.
It is a little bit different, and I guess that's one reason. Many episodes ago, I remember I thought, well, maybe I could do this. When Max left, I thought, I could do this series by myself. I'll just give it a try, see how it works. But it is not much fun doing it just like without like a partner to have things to. Oh yeah,
it's always better to teach a class with a lovely assistant. My lovely assistant, if Andy's watching, thank you for being my lovely assistant at so many classes at the makerspace.
Yeah. I'll say
Andy's a good
I've mostly
guy.
gotten used to it. Well, yeah, good job, Andy. I'll say in that context, I've mostly gotten used to it because I have a script. I know what I'm doing. I'm doing some demos, whatever. But when you log off for a while and come back, and you're not quite sure if you're broadcasting or not, that is tough.
Well, we get to cheat. Here, if you open up YouTube while we're live streaming, you can keep an eye on what you were doing 20 seconds ago.
Okay.
So you can
I
know
think
if you're
that would be
moving.
confusing. That'd be confusing for me. I just keep mine off screen and let you worry about that.
Well, I do my best. It's a good thing we said that, because I just looked over to make sure there were, there's chat over there.
Speaking of that, is there is a link up that you can log in, correct?
There sure ought to be. I don't know where to click to check without screwing things up. But yes, I deliberately pasted a link to the Riverside chat so you can come and video talk to us.
Yeah, so if you want to come talk to us, all you need is the Chrome browser, and who knows, maybe Firefox would work.
I think it'll yell at you. If it's not going to work, it'll tell you. It'll say no.
Okay.
And kick you out.
Yes. So if you want to, if you want to do that, we would love to talk to you. I mean, we got
especially Jeremy. He told me he's very lonely and would like to have another friend.
Hey, so speaking of that, Pat, this interesting story. So I texted my cousin the other day to he works for Chick-fil-A, corporate office or something, and I texted him to complain that there's only one size milkshake now.
Really?
And asked him if
what size is it?
Gave. It's like because my wife said she wanted a small milkshake, and I'm like, okay, I get a large milkshake, and like we only have one size, so I'm like, well, we'll just get one.
One size,
and it was like a milkshake, it was like a milkshake in between the two sizes, and I was like, so I didn't have any milkshake. That's the end of it.
I'm sorry, Jeremy.
But what happened was, so I texted my cousin, right, and so I texted him something that was like, yeah, haha, just tell him my name, you'll get free fries too, and anyway, so I texted him back. I'm like, said something a little bit more, it was personal, doesn't sound right, but it was something that not like tawdry. What's the word? Not.
Well, if you tell us what you said, I'll give it a description.
I said something like, "Oh, I see the reunion's going to be at whatever. Let's just say Buffalo. It's not there, but And he's like, it's like, oh yeah, who is this? I'm like, but he was like, he was conversing with me, and I'm thinking like, well, that's interesting because, I could just text some random person if I was lonely, and maybe I'd make a new friend.
Could. Well,
Yeah.
I don't text very often, but can you imagine texting a wrong number and just having a conversation by mistake?
That'd be weird.
I could
Because
see
I
me
feel
being
like,
confused if somebody said the wrong thing to me, out of the blue. I'm like, oh, that must be Dave. That sounds like something Dave would
right,
say. I don't know Dave's
because
number.
I feel like caller ID really, really killed the fun in prank calling people.
Yeah. Oh,
But
but
I've
did the
never
text
like pranked.
messages come up with somebody's name if you don't have it in your phone?
Well, I don't know.
I don't
I
either.
don't know. I don't think so.
The only messages I get texted that are not from people I know are like legitimate spam and scams and things. So they're not going to have a name. They wouldn't.
Right. Yeah, I don't know.
So
So,
call in and let us know how
um,
phones work because we're old and I don't talk to
yeah,
people. My phone. Do you keep your phone on vibrate, Jeremy?
I think so, but I'm not sure I have it like vibrating correctly because most of the time I
I
miss my
keep my
calls.
phone on actual
So,
silent always. I don't answer any noises that come in on my phone. Therefore, if it's important, they'll call my wife.
yeah, that's a good
I
policy.
think so.
One thing I thought we wanted to talk about was maybe some 3D. Actually, no, I want to talk about the new.
Well, I want to know. I know what
I
I
want to
want
talk
to
about the
talk
new
about.
keyboard.
I want to know what that thing lit
All
up
right.
behind your head is.
Oh, you asked me about
I
this because
did.
you told me before the show. You're like, oh, is that your circuit boards?
Yeah,
And I was like, well, no, it's not.
you had a death
Right.
bed for circuit boards a while back. I thought that was it, but I can't quite see what.
Right.
I can't quite make it out from
So,
here.
so, so I'll try to describe it for you. Like what you're looking at is this illuminated thing, and then to the left of there is a kind of a duller red light that you can't really
I
see
see
very
like
well.
6 lights.
Now the red, yeah, okay, those 6 lights. That's where my circuit board deathbed. I don't know.
Graveyard.
That just trophy case.
Okay.
Trophy case. That's where my PCB trophy case is. Of PCBs that I've designed in the past, whatever. But that's not what you saw. You saw to the right of that, and you probably can't see it from back there, but it's a mountain bike jumping over maybe it's a motorcycle jumping off a ramp, and somebody's photographing it, and there's a car, and there's some other stuff. And if you were able to zoom in and read it, it says Jeremy Cook on it, and that's actually the first article I ever wrote that I got paid for Wired UK,
Oh,
the
nice.
United Kingdom.
Look at you.
Yeah,
that's
and it's
is that a paper article?
yes, that's a paper article. So
I've never been in
yeah,
print, Jeremy.
oh
I don't believe.
yeah, but that's the first article I ever got
like I
paid
was in
for
my
as far as like
yearbook,
a
I
print
think.
print article.
Like I was in there.
Okay,
That
well
counts as print.
that's good. I mean, it is print, or you could print something on your. But yeah, it was like a video that a band called OK Go did, where they have like some sort of a Rube Goldberg contraption in it, and I don't know. I'm not sure I actually interviewed OK Go, but seems like it was cool. It was awesome to see my name in print. In fact, I couldn't find that article anywhere here, and I just happened to be in California for vacation. Just happened to be there, and I saw it at a newsstand, and I bought it. And
And now it's
anyway,
framed and
that
lit.
was now it's
lit.
framed.
How did you
Yeah, and
light
lit.
it?
It is. That's just just a,
Oh, is there a lamp in front
lamp
of it?
light or yeah, just lamp.
Well,
in
that's
front of it.
smart.
I just put my filming lamp up to it. But actually, that may not be the one that I bought in California, because I think what happened was my wife tried to get it framed for me, and the company actually like ripped it or something. And I think they
Oh, no.
somehow had to get another one for me, which that all worked out.
Did you sign
okay.
it?
It's probably not. Did I
Yeah.
sign it? No, I should have.
Maybe it still
That's-
can.
I thought about that like when I'm trying to think. I had seemed like I had something in the Magpie. That was probably the last one. Oh,
yes.
Pat. So I had something published in the Magpie. I don't remember
heard
what
of
it
it.
was exactly. The Raspberry Pi magazine. It wasn't something I wrote, but it was a project I did. If I remember correctly.
This sounds familiar to me. I
but-
think I remember you being excited about this.
Okay, yeah, I was excited about it. I was very excited. But when it got published was like June 2020. So I called Barnes & Noble, and I said, well, hey, do you guys have Magpie? And like, we don't have any magazines. I'm like, What do you mean you don't have any magazines? Like, they said we don't have any magazines because it was the whole pandemic thing. Things were shutting down, and apparently that one didn't get circulated as much as some other magazines or
Does that mean
magazines
you were not
prior
able to
to and
acquire
after.
a copy?
I was not able to acquire a copy.
Have you tweeted
unfortunately.
about this? Have you said, does anybody have a copy that I could buy? And explain why.
What, Pat?
I bet somebody would give you a good deal.
It was like 2 years ago at this point, so I need to.
People have collections of magazines, Jeremy.
I guess what I'm saying is I don't remember if I actually got the magazine or not. I may have
And you don't even know for sure if you're in there. You didn't get to see it, maybe.
I think I was in the PDF, which isn't as exciting.
Oh, I have a printer, Jeremy. We'll print that PDF. You'll be all set.
Print that bad boy. Yeah, that'd be good.
Hot off the presses.
Anyways, that's a long story, but yeah, somebody. A relative of mine mistakenly said, I think she said that I wrote for Time magazine. I think she was quite impressed with me, I guess.
I would be
and
too.
Maybe, but I don't write for Time magazine. And I thought about it, and I was like, I will never write for Time magazine because it's not a magazine anymore.
Oh, is that true?
I don't think so. I don't think it's a print magazine anymore.
No, well, yeah, but do they not call it? What do they call it then?
I guess they call it Time
magazine.
Time website. It's a sign of the times right there.
Weird. This is weirding me out, Jeremy. I don't know what to do about this.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like when I started doing this, writing about technology and such, I feel like it was more common to be a print journalist. But now it's all, people would be like, oh, was it, do a lot of websites, which I did. But now it's like almost exclusively websites.
Oh, of course. I didn't even know you could buy paper anymore.
What did kind of make me slightly annoyed. I don't want to say annoyed, but just disappointed. As I got a couple magazines in a couple articles in EE Times, like the Electrical Engineering Journal, which I thought was just awesome because it's maybe not as doesn't have the circulation maybe as some other stuff, but it's very, very legitimate.
Yeah.
Place to be published. I think. The thing is, I don't know that you can actually buy these anywhere. I think you have to be a member. So I never.
You never acquired.
I was never able to. Never acquired them. So.
Well, now I know what to get you for your birthday.
Oh, that would be very sweet of you. So,
I have no idea how to do that, but we'll.
That was about the time before everything happened with Twitter. I was like, okay, I'm publishing the EE Times.
Like, to be a member, do you have to be an electrical engineer to get in, or is it just you pay a fee, or is it automatic if you're a If you have
I guess you have to. I think you just have to pay a fee. I don't know for sure. I got published there. I got published in Popular Science and a couple other places. I was like, okay, this is about as legitimate as I'm ever going to be. So I applied to Twitter to get a verified handle when that was a thing.
Yeah.
And they considered it, and roughly 2 minutes later said I wasn't famous enough. So
2 minutes.
The
time I sent it to them, it took like a week before they said anything, or I don't know if it was a week, but it was forever.
So does that mean you're more legitimate than me?
I don't know.
I
don't know what it means.
I don't know.
It depends on when you put in the request too. Everything that was always different every few years.
Yeah. Well, I don't. It might not have been 2 minutes, but it was a short amount of time.
Yeah. I've been doing some plumbing this week, Jeremy.
Oh yeah. What have you been plumbing?
Yeah, my espresso machine sprung a leak.
Oh yeah.
It's plumbing. It's copper, brass, or something tubings with fittings and compression fittings and things. And the pump in there broke. I had all kinds of things break the last few months in there.
So did you get it fixed?
Well, I didn't get it fixed, Jeremy. I'll have you know. I fixed it. I had to order replacement parts to put in there, but I got it done. I was a little scared because one of the things is a water valve, and there was like a cheap, like a $6 kit I could order that has all the new parts that go inside the valve. But I looked at this teardown and it expands out like this. It's like this, like 18 pieces in there, and I said, I don't know if I could get those back in there, for sure, and I want to drink coffee, so I don't want to order the parts, take it apart, and realize, well, now I can't have coffee while I wait for an assembled part to to arrive a week later. I didn't know what I would do, so I had to get the assembled part. I felt like I was
Okay.
cheating a little bit there.
That's okay. Well, how much is a espresso machine?
Well,
If
I have the second cheapest real espresso machine, and they're about $800.
wow, that's a lot of money.
Well, it's not too bad. I've had it for almost 9 years now.
Okay.
I've been using it every day. It's
I'm not trying to throw.
no.
I just thought that's a lot of money. But
But
if
it's
you
a
feel like it
durable
gives you
machine.
good value,
It's been a good value. It's cost me about 30 cents a drink to make 4,000, 5,000 lattes over the last 8 or 9 years. I did the math. I have a blog I'm working on that I had to do the math. I had to do a lot of thinking to figure that out.
wow, that's a lot of coffee.
It's a lot of
I
coffee.
don't. Well, it's good for you. Glad you got that all worked out.
I'm excited. It was not that
Yeah.
it's not that complicated, not that exciting, but I'm just glad I have a machine that I can repair instead of just something you can't buy parts for, like a Keurig or something where it's done, you throw it away, get a new one.
I mean, you could throw it away, or you could convert it to a plant watering machine.
Oh, how do you do that, Jeremy? Is there? Can you
Well-
link us to a video on how to do that?
There's a video out there somewhere that somebody, who would be me, I guess, took apart his wife's Keurig machine, our Keurig machine when it wouldn't work anymore. I hooked up a Raspberry Pi to it and got it to cycle on a schedule.
Say that it only cost today. That would cost you $140 to upgrade that to an automated
Yeah.
plant waterer.
Yeah,
What a
it seemed
time
like
to be alive.
what a time to be alive. Well, I was, for whatever reason that wasn't working anymore. I don't remember why exactly, but I tried to use any AT Tiny on it instead, just to do a simple timer on it. And for whatever reason, I couldn't get that to quite work correctly.
What do you have in there? A little relay or something?
Yeah, I think it was maybe a transistor.
What you
but I
have to
don't-
discover, Jeremy, is either Tasmota or ESP Home that run on the ESP32. It has a little web interface that comes up. You just tell it what kind of device is on what pin, and then there's just a toggle button in there in the web interface to turn
Okay.
it on and off.
And yeah, I guess you could put it on a timer. That'd make
Yeah,
things
it'll have
pretty-
you can
pretty
do
easy,
timers in there too, but usually you hook that up to home automation, like Home Assistant or something,
Okay.
and it'll tell you when it's
Yeah, I
watering
had-
and silly crazy stuff. But it does most of the
I
work
had Home
for
Assistant.
you. Is why it's kind of cool.
Okay. Yeah, I had Home Assistant running for quite a while, but then it stopped working for some reason, and I just haven't messed with it after
That's
that.
okay. Not
It-
everybody needs to
it was a bit
automate
of-
everything.
That's true. I mean, it was a bit of it's a bit of a learning curve to use that. I'll just say that.
It is.
And I just didn't feel like learning it again. Well, Pat, I guess another thing I wanted to talk about is I got sent a new keyboard. I assume you have
Oh,
a keyboard.
you didn't buy this.
I didn't buy this. Yeah,
Oh,
so
I didn't
yeah,
know
full
that.
disclosure.
Now I'm even more jealous.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I get the idea is I review stuff, and I'm hopefully going to review this. I told him I pitched it to a couple places, and I'll do that. But I'm getting used to it now. But this keyboard, it's called a Ultimate Hacking Keyboard. I think it's what it's called. Have you heard about this, Pat?
Well, I don't know this one in particular, except for I Googled it when you put it in our document.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to hold the whole thing up, but I'll hold half of it up, which is pretty amazing that I can hold half of it up
Yeah,
at a
it is.
time, because it's a split keyboard. So like half the keyboard is on your left and half is on your right. And in fact, well, I can't.
How-
It's linked to.
How many thumb keys do you
Let's
have
see.
on there? That's what I want.
So yeah, the interesting thing is you've got there's a split up. So you've got basically your left space bar is the mod key, and the right space bar is the space key, and then you've also got a cluster of 3 buttons that you can assign to whatever. So I've got them for delete, backspace, and escape, and it's also got a like tiny little mouse, like a BlackBerry style mouse, if you remember those, that you can use to like pan around and stuff. That's kind of like an add-on module you can put on. Like I've got another add-on module here, which is
A baby little trackball.
Little baby trackball. Yeah, I haven't really used this yet, and it's just. I guess the thing is, this is a keyboard. I think they call it a 60% keyboard. It's got it doesn't have the numpad or anything.
No numpad is a 10 keyless, a TKL.
A TKL.
60% has no function keys, no F keys.
No F keys. Yeah, that's right. It doesn't have any F keys
no
either.
F keys. Then you're somewhere around a 60%. Okay. If you have F keys and no numpad, you're a 70-something %, 75 or so.
Okay. So that's been a little bit hard to get used to. I mean, I don't want to say hard to get used to, but it's been just definitely a learning curve. I mean, I feel like I'm finally to the point where I'm not like, oh, where are my arrow keys? And because you can use there's like a mod key that gives you the F keys and the arrow keys and stuff like that. So it's just been kind of trying to remap everything in my head where everything goes.
Yeah.
And then also you have to reach over farther, and then I've got to see where it works with my JC Pro macro board. Because I've got that. I use that a lot
stick
still.
In the middle. Between
I could. I hadn't thought about that, but yeah, it's a really neat thing. So it's definitely like a keyboard for keyboard heads, if that's a thing.
I've been looking at all kinds of split keyboards, and I'm always tempted.
I mean, it's the thing is, even though there is a learning curve, the quality on this is it's fantastic. I mean, I guess it makes it feel like I've been playing with toy keyboards before this.
Yeah.
And maybe that's a thing. It is I don't know how much it goes for, but it is an expensive keyboard, but it lives up to that. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, this deserves to cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Made. It's well made, and it's got a nice wooden thumb wrist rest on it. And again, I should put out there that I suppose I am, I got this for free, so I'm not,
It was worth every penny.
It was absolutely worth every penny. Yeah. But the thing is, when I got it, I was like, okay, this is a split keyboard. It's a lot smaller. I don't know if I'm going to use this or not. I might want to go back to the Ergo keyboard that I had before with the numpad and the arrow keys, but I don't think I'm going to.
I've been trying to force everyone to give up the numpads because I think that is the most valuable piece of real estate on your desk. That space between the home row and your mouse.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I don't know what it's worth. I don't know what to value it at, but like function keys, I don't want to get rid of function keys because I don't need that space up in front of my keyboard. Well, like, what am I going to put there? But the farther I have to move my arm to get to my mouse, the more annoyed I'm going to be.
That's a very good point. Yeah, so it's a trade-off for sure, but it's I mean, I guess the other thing you could do is you could probably remap things, because you remap all this stuff pretty much any way you want. I think you could remap some of the keys into a numpad if you wanted to, but I think that might not be the right thing to do.
Unless you're an accountant, you're not typing that many numbers.
Yeah.
You know what the stupid thing I did when I didn't have a numpad anymore? I did not realize how much of a habit I had of reaching over and tapping the numpad enter key with my thumb. I'd be on the mouse and do something and then just reach over and go clunk. And now that's an arrow key. So I'd just reach over and I'd be hitting an arrow key for no reason on this keyboard I have. And I'd be like, oh,
that's interesting.
And then I have to reach it. It took me weeks to stop doing that.
I haven't really gotten into it, but like I was holding up this little trackball. You can link this in. You can hook this and other accessories into basically an expansion port on it. I was thinking this would be really convenient, like on when I had a ThinkPad, it had that little like nub thing in the middle, so you could just, like, if you need to make little adjustments. And maybe I'll hook it up again. But the thing is, you hook this in, and you're losing real estate. Yeah. So it's all about trade-offs.
It really is.
The
lateral real estate is the most valuable thing on your desk, left and right.
And maybe you could be like a, office if you felt like having a job in the future, maybe you could be an office
A
ergonomics
guru,
consultant.
an office guru.
A
Is
guru.
that a thing?
Yeah, probably is. I mean, honestly though, it seems like that's something companies should probably give more thought to, because
Some
you
of them
produce.
do.
Some
Some of them are doing a pretty good job.
some of them do. Okay. Last non company that I didn't own that I worked for, they were, if any sort of office equipment you wanted to get, you just kind of went through the catalog and got it. So that was good. But it's not like they had a specialist come in and say, oh, you need to do this and this and this. And it's just fine. They were a good company to work for, but you just, from their perspective, if they get 1% more productivity out of everybody, that's probably money.
Yeah, but I've worked for
well
so many
spent.
places where they wouldn't even care about 1%. They care. Like spending $200 to put a second monitor on everybody's desk easily gets $200 worth of productivity about just about anybody. But so many companies are stingy about that and don't want to spend a couple of $100 on a second monitor. Or third monitor, or however many. It doesn't matter how many.
Yeah. No, it's it seems to me that, office equipment like that is the best investment you can make. I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, I myself, since I own my own company, I definitely
JC
have what I want.
Macro Worldwide.
JC Macro Worldwide. Yeah. I have probably the most, I have a macro pad with my name on it. I mean, how much more customized can you get than that? So,
are you going to branch out into keyboards?
No, I'll tell you what. I think I did a good job in the JC Pro Macro 2. But, it's very much like a kit thing, like very much, it's got the DIY ethos. Ethos, is that the right pronunciation?
Sure, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's at least one correct pronunciation. I don't think it's illegal to do it either way.
It's good for what it is, but I feel like it can't match. I don't think it can really match the quality of this keyboard that I have right now. So I guess for me, it's like, I built the JC Pro Macro because, it was just kind of something I wanted, honestly. And it's like, maybe other people would want it, and they did. But I don't really have any desire to design a keyboard.
Do you want to know the stupid thing that's kept me from getting a split keyboard? Especially one that I really want a lot of extra thumb buttons. But whenever I fire up a video game, I have to move my left hand over from ASDF one key over so I can use WAS and D. And as soon as I do that, now my thumb is not, if there's a lot of spacebar keys, my thumb is no longer over the spacebar. Everything is out of whack. I don't know how I would deal with that.
Yeah, no, I get that. And, there are some, like if I'm trying to have to, like, I'm having to kind of relearn a few things. Like, if I'm using KiCad, depending on your, whatever.
I'm told that is supposed to be KiCad. The internet told me.
The internet told you.
Yep.
But, if I'm doing that, like, now it's like with a split keyboard, if I want to hit the M key, I've got to move my left hand over more. And it's like, or I could do that on my macro pad when I got it configured for that. So it's just kind of like, you kind of had to relearn, like, what's the most efficient way to do things. And, I think, I guess maybe the typical person that would be interested in a keyboard like this is probably excited, maybe even excited to learn new things like that.
I am. I'm very excited to injure my wrists and fingers less. My pinkies get tired if I have too long of a day.
Yeah, well, that's okay.
Yeah, we've been doing this a long time, Jeremy. With keyboards and things.
Yeah.
Well, haven't you? But we're both getting to be elderly or middle aged or something. I saw a thing on the internet. Middle age starts at 35. It said officially.
Really? Well, I guess it depends on how long you plan to live.
It does. Well, yeah, if there's average, whatever the average is, 78 or something is the male average. So somewhere in there, 35 to 50 something is middle aged, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. So, well, I guess it's
Over the hill.
better than the alternative,
they
right?
say, Jeremy. We hit the top and we're on our way walking down to whatever's down there waiting for us.
Oh man, well that's a happy thought. Do, well, on a maybe a happier note,
Ooh.
according to your notes, it says there's a lot of amazing stuff happening with 3D printers,
Oh, there
and
are.
I would enjoy talking about your new printer.
Yeah, you got a new printer, Jeremy. Did you see Brian McMoses ordered
I did not.
a 3D printer yesterday?
I thought he was I thought MC Moses. I thought he was like
Well,
his
there's no
rap
Mick.
name or-
It's
Oh,
There's a story behind that, but it's well, I'll
That's
tell
fine.
I'll tell
We
it
don't-
to you because it's real short. Me and Brian were playing a video
Okay.
game, Team Fortress 2, and we were on the same team. And I got switched to the other team because they were doing bad and everybody was quitting and they even the teams out. And I hear this kid, probably 13 years old, he sounds like, on his microphone. I hear him and he's saying, "Boy, we got to watch out for that Brian McMoses guy." I don't remember why, but like it's not even McMo. There's no Mick in there. It's just there's a C in there, but there's no Mick. But this kid didn't know, but he was mad. He was. I wish I was recording. Sometimes I record the games we play, and I wish I had that because that was awesome. It's hysterical.
that is pretty funny. Well, but what about Brian? Brian?
Oh,
Moses?
he ordered the big bamboo X1 carbon with the multi-material module up on top.
Oh yeah, people are excited about that, but it's a pretty expensive printer, though, isn't it?
Yes, it only costs a little more than an assembled Prusa Mark III. Not that, a few $100s more. But it's
Okay.
a lot
Well,
more
how much
than
are we
a Mark
talking?
III.
How much are we talking about? What's a Mark III go for?
My Mark III after taxes and import from wherever they come from in Europe was
Like
$11.50.
Czechoslovakia or something?
Mine was $11.50, and I think the bamboo is $14.
It definitely does. It definitely doesn't come from Czechoslovakia.
Is that true?
Because that hasn't been. That hasn't been a country for like 10
no.
years.
Well, the Czech
15.
Republic. I'm sorry. I heard you say Czech. Yeah, I hear things and they just go through my head, Jeremy. Isn't it? Are they in the Czech Republic or Poland?
Poland sounds a little better. I
don't
mean,
know if it
not that I
sounds
have anything
better,
against.
but
I don't have anything against the Czech Republic. Either is fine, but I don't think it comes from.
Czech
I
Republic.
think it comes from Poland.
They're in Prague.
Oh, well, I was right. So we could check it out.
Yeah, check it out. But the Prusa Mark III's was about $11.50 after all the fees and everything. And it was you pull it out of
Okay.
the box, you take a few pieces of cardboard out of it, and you hit print, and it goes. That was
Really,
yeah.
that's nice.
And the same thing with Brian's printer, but I think it's $1,400 with the multi-material, and it prints
Oh.
fast. It is a machine. I can't wait to see it.
That's pretty nice. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, the multi-material is a great upgrade for sure. The one I got though, I got the what did I get? I got the Ender 3. I got the Ender 3 V2 Neo, which is like, well, why don't you just call it Ender 3.5 or Ender 4?
Well, it's
But
got to have a cool
I think that
name.
might be a different thing.
You always have to have a cool name.
Yeah, but the great thing is it's not wasn't quite pull it out. You gotta and print. You gotta like assemble a few things, but it's and not too bad. Maybe an hour of assembly time, and after watching a video on it and whatever, setting it up, and this thing has been printing almost flawlessly, and it's I think it was $300.
That's
and it's
fantastic.
like. No, it's not going to be as good as the bamboo for sure.
That's okay.
Maybe not even as good as the Prusa, but I bet it's 90% as good as the Prusa, and
Yeah.
Maybe 50% as good as the bamboo.
The
So,
printer I'm excited
for the
about didn't
price-
come out until after you got yours, or I would have told you for sure to try it out. This new
What's that?
Soval SV06. Soval's been around for a few years, making decent printers. But they have essentially cloned the Mark III, the Prusa Mark III, all the features on the Mark III, but they're selling it for $300. Has like all the same sensors. It's a slightly bigger. I think it's a 300 millimeter square bed.
Okay, nice.
It's
I guess the thing I was I guess excited about it, but the the V2 Neo, the Ender V2 Neo. I had a friend told me how good the Ender was, and then I think Ryan at Retro Built Games, I thought he tweeted out something about that, and I was like, well, you know what, for $300, that sounds awesome. And I had
of
a
folks in
printer
our
that
Discord have Ender 3 varieties. There's been a lot of Ender 3s.
yeah.
It's
Well,
popular.
and I guess the thing I was excited about, I had the I guess I still have it, a Monoprice Micro Ultimate 2, which I thought had some neat features, but I don't think I ever quite got it tweaked in how I should, and it's not like there's the same ecosystem out there. Whereas the Ender 3, there's just so many people have them, you can get so much more input on it, and I maybe didn't value that enough.
Yeah, it's huge.
Although I guess I got the Ultimate for a for a review, so that that I'm not really out that much money. Although I did have to.
You had to do a lot of work.
Have to buy some.
Don't underestimate.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, so it's
I know what I used to bill out for when I did work I was professionally respected for at the time. I I consider that to be my value always, and I would like all the work I do to be.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
So anyway, for the setup time and everything, I think the Ender 3 is Ender 3 Neo V2 Neo is a fantastic printer. That's my opinion.
I believe you. I always hear nice things about all the Ender 3, and even all the Ender 3 clones. I hear nice things about. It's probably the most cloned printer now.
You think so?
I do. I know there's Prusa clones, but they're still expensive enough that nobody wants to buy a clone. They want to buy. Generally, they want to buy the real thing if they're going to spend that much.
Yeah, for sure. So, I don't know. Well, anything else? Anything else you want to talk about?
Well,
Pat?
I lost our
think
quarterly update page here.
Oh, okay.
There it is. Yeah.
Well, I guess
I'm pleased with everything we've hit on.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I guess another thing, just thinking about my interface designs and stuff, Raspberry Pi. I made a capacitive input. I'm working on that. I've actually got something ordered for it, a capacitive input for the RP2040. So I'm hoping the Pico. I'm hoping I can get that maybe for sale before too long. So
Nice.
it'll be anyway. So I've got a lot of other projects that I'm excited about, but we've been joining on for a while.
We have
so I
been.
think.
Now, Brian just started his giveaway for his DIY NAS for this year. And
Now, what's a NAS?
a network-attached storage device. It's a little server. The one he built is it's like a big shoebox with 6 hard drives in it.
Okay.
It's a neat little machine. But what I really wanted to say about that, because we don't do a good job pimping it out over here, because of the giveaway, people have been flooding into our Discord server for the last 36 hours or so. I keep having to say hello to new people. So we should be telling folks here on the podcast, you should stop by our Discord server and come hang out with us.
For sure. Yeah, you'll find Pat there. You'll find me there occasionally.
Yeah, there's a link in the bottom somewhere. There'll be a link somewhere on our podcast pages. There will be links to our Discord server.
And that's the Butterwhat Discord.
It is the Butterwhat Discord.
Right?
If you go to butterwhat.com/Discord, it will forward you to the correct Discord.
Okay.
And Discord is it's a chat room kind of a thing. It's like IRC, but for people who don't know how to work IRC. So it's fantastic.
Sure. Well, yeah. I guess is there anything else you want to tell people about, Pat, before we?
Well, really, Discord. Come to Discord.
Okay. Yeah, come to Discord. Yeah, I'll put my name in for that. That'd be good too. You could find me on YouTube, etc. Find me on the Creative Invent podcast. I just, we didn't mention this in the coffee break because we didn't really do a traditional one, obviously. But please give us a thumbs up or subscribe, whatever. Anything,
I love a thumbs
however
up.
you listen to us. If you give us a good rating, I think last time we mentioned I've been listening on Podcast Addict, that app, and I was like, oh, you can actually give them a thumbs up. So I gave myself one, and
that's the way to do it, Jeremy.
That's good. Yeah.
Oh, Jeremy, I think I can say this live on camera here because I'm going to have to send him another email. Last year, we invited Zack Freedman onto our podcast. And he said, yes,
Okay.
email me back in, I think he said January or something, or I don't remember when. But I emailed him back and nothing. I heard nothing back. And, in my head, I'm like, I'm saying mean things in my head. Then a few days ago, he posted a video. His apartment was literally flooded. The water heater in the apartment above him exploded. Oh, the video. It's
Really?
so traumatic, Jeremy. And he's talking about the timeline. I'm thinking, oh, man. I emailed him right as that was happening, I think. Like, I would have ignored me, too, that week. It is so bad.
Okay. Well, you know what?
So I'm going to email him again, and hopefully he'll talk to us again. But, I feel so bad for him watching that video.
You know what? We always give people a pass that don't come on the show.
I'm
because,
never mad.
They're not required.
No.
But we give Zach like an extra pass and good wishes.
I feel so bad. I mean, I wasn't really mad at him, but you don't hear back, and you're like, from anybody, like anybody.
Well, you're
what did I do?
Well, people are busy. We understand that, and we have had some fantastic guests.
We've had so many fantastic. All of our guests have been fantastic, Jeremy.
And speaking of that, we should plug it. We have recorded a video podcast with Max Maker.
We didn't publish that yet?
Even no, because you said
yeah.
I thought we were going to wait till after this.
Well, that's fine. I don't even know what day it is, Jeremy. It's the middle of March.
Because we're going to do it like. The idea was we recorded it. We asked him, and he's like, "Yeah, let's do it Saturday." I was like, "Okay." And then I was like, "Well, should we publish it, or should we wait till we do the live stream?" And he said, "Well,
we recorded.
We'll stay on the Thursday schedule."
We recorded with Max Maker 3 days after we recorded with Retro Built Games. We did the recording. That's too soon to publish twice.
Anyway, you guys are, hopefully you're familiar with him from earlier episodes, but this time he's got a trash train project that we're so excited to talk to him about.
Do you know what I'm upset about, Jeremy?
It's delightful.
I'm not upset about Zach not emailing me back because his apartment flooded. It was so bad. But
sure,
Max Maker is not his real name. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
He told us
what is it?
The last time, 2 years ago when he was back on the show.
I do know that.
Well, I didn't know that until he told us, and I was very let down. Well, I mean, I expected Maker was not really his last name. I was pretty certain of that.
Well, yeah. I mean, you wouldn't think an American would be named that, much less a German guy. I
didn't think he'd make up both names. I thought just half of the name was made up. Like if I made myself be Pat Maker, German. That seems legal, but I'm not sure if it's legal to change both my names.
I think it's okay.
Well, German law might be different, too.
The Bundesliga or whatever, however you say it, I have no idea.
I don't think you can say that on TV, Jeremy.
Maybe not. I can't say it on TV because I don't even know what it would be.
Well, I don't even know what you said. I made that up.
Yeah, most of the German words I know come from World War II documentaries, so they're not.
I know Gesundheit.
Usually what does that mean?
That's what you say instead of God bless you.
Health. Oh, health. Kinder that's children because I went to kindergarten, as you probably did.
Too.
Yeah. Well, it's probably a good place to end it, Pat.
Yeah,
what do you think about that? I think
you're probably right.
So,
PJ Henley says hello. Hello, guys.
Oh,
I will.
Hello, PJ.
It doesn't say how long ago I missed that, PJ. I'm sorry. I'm a little slow.
Yeah. But thanks for watching. And listen, tune in. Definitely, if you're subscribed to the podcast, et cetera, and next Thursday or thereabouts, we're going to have a fantastic episode with Max Maker, and he's going to talk about his trash train, and it's going to be fun.
I can't wait to watch again.
Yeah.
I learned a lot when we had that conversation. It's goodbye. I'm supposed to
Yeah,
say
I guess
goodbye.
it's goodbye. See you later.
Oh, I'm doing a bad job. Everybody have a good night.
Good night.